Warning, spoiler alert.
A criminal from the past returns,
The good guys dress up as bad guys.
and Mando takes his helmet off, all on this episode of the Feel Good Media Show with Kevin and Milton.
All right, well, Milton, episode
Yeah.
7. This is it. There's one more to go after this.
Are you serious? That's
the
it?
The tension is building.
Man, we got to think about what we're going to do next. I'm having too much fun. I don't want this to end.
I know. It comes and goes so fast. Only 8 episodes, and
Yeah.
it feels like. But really, if you think about it, 8 episodes, we're going to get about 6.5 hours of content. That's like 3 movies,
Yeah, that's true.
and it's still not enough.
No, I want more.
Feed the beast.
Yeah.
Feed the beast. All right. So this episode was this massive Western rescue.
yeah.
Just lots of stuff blowing up.
Right.
Big reveals, and we're building towards this giant rescue of Grogu.
Yeah.
Who was not in this episode.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Like you miss the little cutie moments, his little coos and
Yes, yeah.
But no, not this time. This time we're getting down and dirty serious.
He was absent, which I think was a very good storytelling pause.
Yeah.
That this is where all the characters are now going to find this lost child.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. And we do this, we say this over and over almost every episode, just the ability to go back and for you to have these like, oh yeah moments, right?
Right.
When they talk about this, even in the last episode when he said the sharpshooter, I saw the face on the screen and I'm like, I don't remember that guy. But then they give you the recap, and then you're like, oh yeah, the episode when they went into the prison and
Yep.
that guy's coming back, and then you see him and it's Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And Bill Burr's awesome. and
Which was
he's-
the only character I wanted to come back from that episode.
Right.
We could have left the other characters there. I didn't
Right.
need
And he's
them
so
to come back.
snarky, and I appreciate that. And it's comedic relief in the midst of all the tension, and I love it. I love that they brought him back.
Mando does not play along well, though. He does not like to banter and just joke around.
Well, he's
way too serious.
He's singular focused right now.
Yep.
Right? Like,
I don't have time
it doesn't
for your...
matter. Nothing is going to stop me from my mission.
That's right. Yep.
Right? Nothing's going to stop me. And we'll jump to a quick spiritual connection here, which is that's God.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I've got a mission to save my children, and nothing's going to get in my way from doing that. And Mando is representing that father figure, spiritual father figure for all of us. And I just love seeing just how he's relentless right now.
I do relate to Bill's character a little bit more.
Do you?
Because I think he's an Enneagram 7, like myself.
Okay.
which is basically, in the midst of high stress, you just make jokes.
Because that's all you know how to
that's
do.
all you can do.
It's how you cope.
It's that or panic. So
I like the jokes better than panicking.
Tell a couple jokes.
Don't run away from me right now. I need you.
Yeah. So the big thing of this episode is we're building towards this giant reveal of Mando taking his helmet off.
Man.
And so
Such a moment.
much of this episode is all about not wearing helmets, which drove me a little insane.
You didn't like that.
This is really one of my first major complaints of this season 2 so far.
It can't all be perfect. So
No.
tell me about
the
that.
writing has been pretty tight.
Oh yeah.
But this episode, I was like, why is Bill's character driving? I mean, they're first of all, they're playing dress up. So they're dressing up as stormtroopers and going into the Empire base.
Yeah.
But he's not wearing his helmet the whole time. So Mando dresses up, and his whole thing is he puts on the bad guy's helmet, and that's fine.
Right.
But then the other guy isn't wearing his helmet the entire episode.
Yeah.
And I understand they are building up to this whole Mando take your helmet off, but it just annoyed me.
You didn't like that.
No, it's like the bad guys are going to figure it out. Put your helmet on.
Right. Like they see you. You're the only trooper that's not wearing a helmet. Something is wrong here.
It was so dumb. And they're all waving in the car, and I'm like, no, I'm not following this line. Whatever, it's Star Wars, I'll let it go.
Okay.
That's my complaint.
We'll give them an A- on this episode instead of an A+.
That's true. Yes.
But this Western feel comes back to this episode. It's the stagecoach carrying the nitroglycerin or the dynamite, trying to get to the next town while the bandits are coming and the Lone Ranger is standing on the top of the stagecoach and he can't fire his gun because everything's going to blow up. So it's just a fist fight on top of the stagecoach. And we've seen this over and over, not just in Westerns. We've seen it in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
They're fighting on top of some kind of tank.
Right.
We've seen it in superhero movies where they fight on top of a train. I mean, that's a classic scene. You know, Captain America, Spider-Man, they all do it.
Right.
And here we have the Mandalorians' chance to give us their version of it, and it was fantastic.
I love the vehicle too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It just looked great.
Yeah,
but I
loved
think
it.
I think the just the pace of everything was just spot on. It was really great.
And I also loved it sped up. It was so fast, and then you get inside the base and everything just slows down.
Right. Yes.
And let's build the tension, right? And we got to get these codes. And then the general calls us over, and now we're drinking and we're talking, and you can just feel like something is about to happen, and it's building towards this moment where Mayfeld just unleashes his wrath on these people.
That was one of those moments where I was just like, "What?"
Yeah,
that was a what moment.
Right, exactly.
And it's so good to see Pedro's face.
Yeah,
the Mando's actor's face, because he's a great actor, and just a lot of classically trained, I guess. And you can just see so much emotion in his eyes, because his brown eyes.
Brown eyes. We just call him brown eyes. Right. I love that part.
It was so good. But he was just looking at Bill's character going, "Don't do it. I know you're about to do it. Don't do it." And he does it.
Yeah.
and then just everything breaks out.
Right. And then we have just that great escape scene, another one. Like, we got to get out of here. We're in the saloon. And we're surrounded.
Yes.
And we got to break the back window.
Somehow
and jump on the horses.
It's amazing they escaped again. 50 to
Who would have
2.
thought? Who would have thought the stormtroopers would miss again?
Yeah. There was a cool moment in this in the chase scene though.
Yeah.
Where we got I don't know what it's called, the bomb.
Oh, like the sonic grenade or something.
Yeah, the sonic boom bomb.
So good.
Which actually appeared in the prequels.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
The asteroid fight.
Yeah, Jango Fett tried to get rid of Obi-Wan with the same thing in the asteroid field, and it was cool then, and it was cool now.
Yeah, it's just a great connection to the storyline. I think that's what we're continuing to get. This isn't just an adventure. They are really starting to pull from some history and some deep lore that's out there.
It's a journey down memory lane for those of us who've been in this series from childhood, and that's why it's grabbing so many people, young and old. And Jon Favreau, just kudos to you. I know he watches, so I'm gonna.
Thank you,
Thanks, John.
We do have to mention one thing: Operation Cinder.
Oh,
it was just kind of dropped in there in a conversation, but apparently this is a huge.
You did some reading on
deal.
it. You sent me an article, which I was like, "What?"
Oh, so great! Just about how this whole thing was talked about in previous books and canon. It's part of the canon that they're drawn from, but I think it explained why he shot him point blank.
Right.
Because there was
just blew up the whole thing at the end.
Right, yeah. Because there was just so much pain and anger and hurt because he was forced to go against his own.
It explains why he severs his identification with the Empire. He says, "I'm not Empire anymore because I know how evil they actually are and what they're trying to do ultimately. I can't be a part of that."
Yeah.
And that's why, he even says at the end, "Now I can sleep." Right? I got to get this off my chest because I was part of that.
It's way cool. In fact, we will post a link to this article that explains Operation Cinder in the description for you guys to check out more.
Good idea.
Because as much as we would love to explain every single detail, we don't have time to do so.
No, we don't.
Because we would much rather talk about some spiritual connections and just some things that we are doing and feeling from the show.
Yeah. I think this episode has a lot, the theme of sacrifice is big in this. Mando lives by a certain creed, a certain belief, and yet he was forced to make a decision. Do I stick with this, or do I make the sacrifice because someone's life is in danger and I have the chance to do something about it? And that's a tough one. What level of sacrifice we give. So, and I think he made the right decision ultimately. But that's a very personal decision we all have to make sometimes.
And he could let it go at any time, and I don't think many people would blink an eye.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole galaxy to hide in.
Right.
And we certainly hide in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So he could definitely just say, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah.
My money, my life.
Right.
But he made a promise, and he's very loyal to that.
Yeah.
Which you have to admire.
Yeah. And sometimes promises can go in different directions. And then you have to make a decision. And he made the decision in a person decision, a decision about someone, versus himself.
Right.
And
What about the ending message that Mando gives?
Man, that was to me that was the most powerful moment of the whole series for me, when he sends that message to Moff Gideon and he says, he means more to me than you will ever know. And that scared me when he said that.
Right.
Like, if I'm Moff Gideon, I'm thinking,
Wow.
oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I've done something. I've unleashed a monster that I didn't know existed. And that's God, right? That's God telling the forces of evil all around us, my children mean more to me than you ever know. You don't know who you're messing with right now.
Wow. Yeah.
I love that message.
Yeah.
It gives
It's
me,
huge.
that's God right there.
Well, I mean, and that's our feel good, right?
Yeah,
Is that it feels good that we have someone doing that.
Yes.
Because humans will always fail us. Friends can only do so much. Our parents can only love so long. And so, I mean, I think to have that power behind us gives us a lot of confidence and peace to rest in. So that's the feel good.
Yeah. And the do good is the willingness to sacrifice for others. That our stuff is important to us, our time is important to us, our money, but there comes a time when we do need to give.
Yeah.
And others need it. And how many lives will be better when we do that, when we're willing to sacrifice. So be less about ourselves and be more about others.
It's good. One episode to go, Milton.
Oh,
There
man.
we go.
That's it. So this is the end of this episode, but we got one more coming. So if you're enjoying this time as much as we are, go ahead and go ahead and subscribe. You can share this video, but most of all, smash that bell so that the next episode, when it pops up, a notification will get to you and you won't miss any of the content. And we also would love to hear some suggestions from you of other content that you'd like us to cover, because we want to keep this show going because it's fun. We're having a good time doing it. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.